You carry everyone. You're the one people turn to when things fall apart. The one who keeps it together when no one else can. The one who doesn't complain. Because you believe you're not allowed to, and yet no one asks if you're okay. No one wonders what your breaking point is. You've held others through their storms, but who held you through yours? You show up day after day, tired, stretched, unraveling on the inside. But still, you show up because someone has to. Because you always do, and now you're here, not because you had time, but because you had to find a reason not to give up. So, let me speak directly to you. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not invisible. You're just exhausted, and you deserve to be heard. This is not another motivational speech. This is a letter. A space. A soft place to land. You've been holding the world so long. Maybe now, just for a moment, let this story hold you. Subscribe to the Unsung. This space exists for those who carry quietly, for people like you. Share this with someone who is always there for others but never asked if they're okay. Comment below. I'm still standing. But the world only sees what you show them. They don't know what you carry in silence. Let's talk about that in segment 1, the weight you don't talk about. You smile in the hallway. You answer, I'm fine when people ask. You joke, you nod, you help. And somehow, no one notices the fatigue sitting behind your eyes. But I do. I see it. You walk like the ground beneath you is always shaking, but you steady it for everyone else. You don't cry because there's no room for that. You don't rest because there's always something left undone. You don't complain because who would even listen? You've become so good at hiding it. People think you're thriving. They think you're okay, but you're not. You've just mastered the art of survival. There's a difference between being strong and being used to pain. You didn't ask to be the one everyone leans on, but when life picked someone, it picked you. So you became the answer, the pillar, the protector, the provider, the fixer, but no one ever asked. What did you lose while trying to hold everyone else together? You remember that one night where you sat in the dark, no lights on, just the sound of your own breathing? You thought about disappearing? Not to end your life, but just to pause it. To be unseen for a while. To let someone else carry the weight, but you didn't. You got up. You kept going. Because that's what you do. You always keep going. But just for a moment right here, you don't have to. You don't have to hold it all. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to perform. Just breathe. You're still here. And that is not small. You carry that weight all day long. But when the house is quiet, when the phone stops ringing, when the mask comes off, there's something else you face. Not a person, not a problem, just a presence called loneliness. It doesn't shout, it just waits in the quiet corners of your soul. In segment 2, the loneliness that won't speak unless you're alone. Let's sit with it together. There's a kind of loneliness that no one talks about. It doesn't show up in empty rooms. It shows up in the middle of crowded ones. You're surrounded by people, maybe even people who love you, but you feel like a ghost in your own story. You laugh when they laugh, you nod when they speak, but your mind is somewhere far away, in that quiet corner of your soul where no one dares to knock. Because if they did, what would they find? The exhaustion, the doubt, the days you feel like a burden, the nights you wish someone would just see you without you having to fall apart. You've learned how to disappear in plain sight. You can be the strongest one in the room and feel like the weakest behind closed doors. You've built a life where your needs come last, not out of ability, but necessity. Because when everyone depends on you, you stop depending on anyone. You lock the door to your own ache. You stop knocking too. And after a while, but here's the part no one tells you. Loneliness doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been strong for too long without someone being strong for you. It means you have so much to give, but no space to receive. And that doesn't make you less. It makes you human. You're allowed to want someone to check on you. You're allowed to crave softness. You're allowed to long for warmth without having to earn it. You've been giving oxygen to everyone else. Have you forgotten how to breathe for yourself? So just for today, don't silence the ache. Don't hide the truth. Let your own name matter to you again. Let someone else know. There's no shame in needing softness. But maybe it's not just the silence that hurts. Maybe it's something you put on so long ago, you forgot it wasn't even you. Something designed to protect you. But now it's starting to suffocate you. Let's look at it. In segment 3, the mask you forgot you were wearing. At some point, you had to learn to hide it. Maybe you were young. Maybe it was the only way to stay safe. Maybe no one taught you how to cry without it being used against you. So you built something, not out of lies, but out of necessity. A mask. One that smiled even when your heart broke. One that stayed composed even when you were screaming inside. One that said, "I'm fine," when everything felt like it was falling apart. And with time, you forgot where the mask ended and where you began, because everyone loved the mask. They praised the version of you that never needed help. They called you responsible, reliable, strong, selfless, but they didn't know the cost. They didn't see what it was doing to you, to have to perform peace while crumbling inside. Here's the truth no one says out loud. You shouldn't have to hide your soul just to be accepted. You shouldn't have to choke down your needs just to be called good. But the world rewards what it sees, and it sees the mask. So now, you wonder if anyone could even love what's behind it. The tired version, the afraid version, the real version. Let me say this to you now, clearly. The real you is enough. Even when messy, even when uncertain, even when undone. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to deserve love. You don't have to keep being the hero if the hero inside you is running on empty. The mask kept you safe once. But it's okay to take it off now. It's okay to ask, who am I? When I'm not pretending to be okay. If that line hits something raw in you, hit subscribe to the Unsung. This space was created for people like you, brave enough to finally be real. Share this with someone who always seems unshuckable, but might need a place to let go. Comment. I'm learning to be seen. Because under the mask is a person worth loving, not for what they do, but for who they already are. When something or someone left a scar so deep, but maybe the mask wasn't the only thing that hurt you. Maybe there was a moment, a season, you stopped believing in your own worth entirely. Let's gently open that chapter. In segment 4, the moment you were taught you didn't matter. Think back. There was a moment, maybe not loud. Maybe no one else even noticed it, but you did. Something shifted. A sentence, a silence, a rejection. A door that stayed closed when you needed it to open. Maybe someone you loved made you feel like a burden. Maybe the help you asked for never came. Maybe your pain was laughed at, dismissed, or ignored. And in that moment, a seed was planted. A dangerous one. The idea that you don't matter unless you're useful. That your worth depends on your performance. That if you don't show up perfect, you won't be loved at all. And so you overcompensated. You became the giver, the fixer, the one who always has it together, but inside you carried the wound. That moment kept echoing. You could be in a room full of people and still feel like you had to earn your right to be there. You tell yourself, if I work harder, maybe I'll finally feel enough. If I never complain, maybe they'll appreciate me. But deep down, you're still waiting for someone to look at you and say, you don't have to do anything. I see you, and I'm not leaving. Because all your life, love felt like something you had to chase. Something with conditions, something you had to prove. But here's the truth. The wound was never your fault. But the healing, that can begin with you. You don't need to keep reliving that moment. You don't need to keep proving your worth. You already have it. Your value is not in what you carry, but in the fact that you've kept carrying it all. Because you get to write the next chapter. You get to say, this wound stops with me. But even when the wound starts to heal, even when you begin to believe you're enough, there's still the question, how do I keep going? When no one claps, no one sees, and nothing gets easier, let's answer it. In the final segment, you kept showing up, and that changed everything. You kept showing up, even when no one clapped, even when no one said thank you, even when you questioned whether any of it made a difference. But here's what you didn't see. Every time you showed up, someone watched, someone learned, Someone felt a little less alone because of your presence. You became a quiet lighthouse, no fireworks, no spotlight, just unwavering light. And that matters. You didn't wait for the world to validate your worth. You kept going, kept holding. You kept loving, even with an empty cup. And yes, it's unfair. It's exhausting. It feels thankless. But you changed lives by simply not giving up. Somewhere, someone didn't quit because you didn't. Someone believed in goodness because you embodied it. Someone chose healing because you lived through your pain and kept walking. That's not weakness. That's not just endurance. That's courage at its most sacred level. You never needed to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes the most heroic thing a person can do is keep showing up when no one sees them. And you did. So now, take a breath. You've carried so much. You've earned rest that doesn't need to be justified. You earned love that doesn't come with conditions. You've earned healing that starts not with effort, but with permission. Permission to feel, permission to receive, permission to just be. If this letter felt like it was written for you, it was subscribed to the Unsung. Because this space will keep showing up for you too. Share this video with someone who's always been strong and deserves to know it mattered. Comment below. I kept showing up. You don't need applause to matter. You don't need permission to rest. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. Just keep going. And if you ever forget your worth, come back to this space. We see you. We always will.